joined by a strategy consultant, Dipo Oyewole. Dipo, good morning. Good to have you here on the news.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Dipo. Now, Dipo, given Nigeria's abundant raw materials and natural resources, and we do have a lot of it, what strategy can be implemented to maximize domestic production and also reduce reliance on imports?
Well, first thing we need to look at is power, and I think that's really quite a given if we look at it. There must be power to ensure that productivity happens within the system. So either we're talking manufacturing or even just your regular office work, we need to have stable power. Unfortunately, a couple of days ago, we had labor shut down the national grid. Different conversation for another day. But before that, we've had the grid collapse time and again, comes back on every 2 days. We need to see how we can stop the issue of power. When we're able to solve the issue of power, we have said it time and time again, certain things just fall into place. When we're able to solve the issue of power, there is no economy today that is advancing, that is making any tangible progress, that hasn't been able to solve the issue of power. Once we're able to solve the issue of power, we will find that certain other things that we complain about will just get knocked off automatically, because by itself, the system is more productive, and then certain excuses and challenges that have been adherent with the lack of power will no longer be within the system. So we need to solve power, and we need to solve it now immediately.
Well, Dipo, many would argue chicken or egg situation. You say power, some other people say policies. What can the government do when it comes to making policies that can help incentivize the local production and also help create conducive environment for these businesses, including your power? I'm not putting that aside. But what about policies?
Yes, I mean, policies have a strong place, because in the end, whatever we're trying to execute in the marketplace, most times is always dependent on policy. And I tell folks, especially small businesses, that you're just one policy away from going out of business. Because, a couple of weeks ago, if not a month or two, the Lagos State government announced that a type of takeaway pack, what we call takeaway pack, would be banned. And the notice was short, and we're saying that what happened to the people that just imported a new batch of it, some people that had their own new batch coming from abroad. So you're just one policy away from going out of business. So yes, government policies have a strong place, but we must also understand that aside from policy, after the policy has been set, what is really obtainable in the real world scenario, what is obtainable in the marketplace, if there is no power to drive those policies, to drive productivity that those policies have been able to, or that are expected to make possible, then nothing happens. So yes, we're not saying that power has to work independently. Power and policy, they have to work together to ensure that we have a more productive system, and that we are not just a consuming economy, but a more productive one.
Then again, Dipo, early 2024, the president was all over the world trying to garner support, or at least, get investment into Nigeria. Foreign investment now is the question. How can Nigeria, and we've seen plenty of these multinationals leave Nigeria, but how can we at this point attract these investments, foreign investments, given the conditions that we have on ground?
Oh, well, we do have to look at increasing investor confidence, and how we can get to do that is to show that we're serious and we are indeed open for business. Now, how we can do that is, we talked about power. Another thing we need to look at is security, because nobody is going to stay in a place where it isn't secure. Today, we have a lot of folks today that are leaving the country, relocating. Some, it's not because of economic reasons. Some, it's because of security reasons, because of recent experiences they've had with different kinds of gangs and groups over the years. And they said, you know what, I don't think I'll be able to live very long if I continue to stay in this country. So we must be able to look at policies, we must be able to look at power, we must be able to look at security. When we address the security concerns that we have, investors are more confident to say that, we're not just sending our money across. We can also send personnel, we can also send technical support, we can also send people that will come around to help set up these businesses and help ensure that our investments thrive very, very well. But until we're able to solve these challenges, it will be a longer conversation, having to talk to investors around and having to convince them a lot more as to the reason why they need to invest in Nigeria. If the indices are there and they are clear that Nigeria is a good place to invest in, a lot of people will come in to invest in it. And as much as we say that, yes, certain companies leave the country every other day, same way some folks are leaving, same way some folks are coming. Okay? So, yes, it depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. But will we rather have the ones leaving stay? Yes, we would. And we would rather have an increased number of the ones coming in. Of course we would. But we must be able to look at how we address these challenges importantly. Power policy, security. They are true benchmarks to ensure that investments are brought into the country at this time that we really need it critically.
Well, Dikbo, thank you very much. You summarily put it so well, power policies and security, and we're good. Thank you for joining us this morning.